How many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the daily afternoon Prepared Mind channel. It has hit the fan, and I call this Monday Mayhem. Monday Mayhem. Folks, I hope you are prepared for worse things than what we're already dealing with, and it's going to come. We have the racism of Democrat socialists that knows no limits. There is a taxpayer-funded food bank or food pantry, if you will, that is now telling whites, you do not get access to our food resources, right? That's just for people of color. What is going on in this world? How can they be just so blatantly evil? It's unbelievable to me. It is. Now, down here in Florida, earlier I was bragging to Uman and Kaz and the gang that we don't have any looting down here. Well, lo and behold, by time afternoon come around, it started. You just have people wandering around into people's garages and houses. And folks, it's interesting. It's horrible. It's like either it looks like a third world country with all the shit just thrown out in the street, or a war zone where shit's just destroyed and plowed through. It's really awful. I know that it's that way along the Florida coast, up through Georgia, into the Carolinas and Tennessee and even Virginia. It's awful. There's a lot of trouble out there. And Biden doesn't care. He was asked, where have you been? What are you doing? And he yelled at somebody, I was commanding. Commanding what? He's lost. Kamala Harris pretended like she was dealing with the emergency. They got a photo op of her on a plane, sitting at a desk with a pad and a pencil, and she had her earbuds in like she was really working on this thing, and her phone is sitting on the desk in the photo op, and the earbuds were not plugged into it. It was it had the little wire. It's all bullshit, these people. It's all bullshit. The Democrats don't care about Americans. They don't give a shit about us. It's a dangerous world, folks. And this is just after a couple of days of, the hurricane. And there's not any, there's problems. People power out, no communications. In fact, Elon Musk is working with Trump to get Starlink, to get free internet to Americans where they're out. They're going out of their way above and beyond to help people out, and that's wonderful. But the government, federal government, not so much. Not at all. Now, on the more professional side of things, I was at one of my clients who's had their house basically half destroyed because they got flooded out by hurricane waters, and the FEMA insurance, because if you live on the water, you've got to have flood insurance, and that is administered by FEMA. And the FEMA adjuster came by, and they just looked around and said, well, if you were to pick the house up and shake it, everything that falls out is not covered. Everything outside the doors is not covered. This isn't covered. That's not covered. The other thing's not covered. And me and the client are standing there going, well, what the fuck is covered? It was incredible. Well, the cabinets, because they got soaked with, salt water. I said, well, what about the upper cabinets? He's like, we don't cover that. I said, so what you're saying is we're going to turn this home into a kind of a Cracker Jacks put together with extra pieces and parts, so the uppers don't match the lowers. The paint is different color. What the fuck kind of insurance is this? Well, it's government insurance. Good golly, I tell you. The government's not your friends. Democrats are not your friends. When shit hits the fan, you're going to discover, me too, that the people we think are friends, they're not really our friends unless we develop relationships ahead of time as best we can. It's going to be messy, folks. It hasn't even begun. I'm just seeing some hurricane damage. And years ago, when Houston was hit by was it Hurricane Harvey? We did fundraising, and people are doing fundraising. The people up in the Carolinas asked the government for help, and they said nope. Start asking for donations from other Americans. Meanwhile, they send $250 billion to Ukraine, and tens and tens and tens of $1 billion to countries around the world, but nothing for Americans, nothing for American veterans. It's shameful. That is this country. Take all the money you can from it and just let it go to shit. On top of that, folks, we've got a couple of death threats. You're going to be shocked when I tell you this. Shocked. Hillary Clinton has put out her October surprise warning. The October surprise is, there's usually a surprise that comes up campaign. If Hillary Clinton is warning, hey, here comes an election surprise in October, and she says it's going to upend the election. Folks, the only thing that can upend the election for Trump, the only way to defeat him and upend him is to have him Arkansided. Thank you, Hillary, for letting us know that is a very real and definite possibility. I'd like to know, because the government has said this, surface-to-air missiles, SAMs, have been smuggled into this country through Mexico. And President Trump, his jet, is under threat of being shot down. I'd be curious to know, does President Trump's jet have countermeasures? I sure hope it does. I sure hope there's self-deploying countermeasures and that there's people on that plane trained for them. I don't know if it's even possible, if they're allowed to put those on civilian aircraft. Basically, they're, you could say, big giant sparklers that are spit out the back for missiles to lock onto versus the jets, a heat source. Anyways, how does the government know? How does the government know surface-to-air missiles are smuggled in? You think the drug dealers are going to tell the federal government, hey, by the way, we just brought some over? Like you think someone in one of the drug lord gangs or terror groups is going to tell everyone, hey, we got some missiles. This is great. We're going to go shoot Trump down. How does the government know? When did they know? Who told them? And what steps are being taken to find them? And then Hillary Clinton wants to talk about an October surprise that's going to upend the election. She's famous for people just dying once they piss her off. I'm not saying she's threatening the president, but she seems a little gleeful to me. Anytime she comes out, it's just to talk a bunch of trash. As in, over the weekend, Hillary Clinton said, calling you a deplorable. Calling me a deplorable was too generous, too nice, not harsh enough. And if you think I'm full of shit, if you think I'm just making all this up, if you think that I if you think I'm overreacting, you might want to look at this again. You're not going to believe this, folks. Right down here, just not far from where I live, down in the town of St. Pete, or the city of St. Pete, Florida, we have Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who has been a hardcore Republican, a hardcore Make America Great Again, a hardcore America First Congresswoman, a hardcore call out the commies for what they are, communists. Well, her opponent, a Democrat from the St. Pete, Florida area, has been charged with threatening to have her assassinated with a Russian-Ukraine hit squad. So that's how you run for Congress. You tell your opponent, you threaten them that you're going to get assassinated and I've got a Russian or Ukrainian hit squad. Folks, this is political SHTF right now. And it's getting worse by the minute as we get closer. As the weeks and then days tick down, it is going to become more corrosive. It's going to become more toxic. It's going to become more violent because the Democrats are not winning in the polls. They're not winning the hearts and minds. They're losing. They're losing hope as Kamala Harris continues to be a buffoon, a moron. And Americans are getting more and more pissed as they watch the federal government do absolutely nothing for them except hurt them, and then hurt them some more. What an incredible story. Everything that's going on. Yeah. Trump's trying to help, right? He's asking Elon Musk to hook up Starlink, restore internet communications, all while Kamala is faking help on her phone, which isn't plugged in, right? Trump is on the scene. Kamala's flying around doing her fundraisers, pretending to care and be part of the thing. It's all pretend on her side. But let me give you one clue where I think they will not pretend, where I think the Democrats will actually take action, where they're going to step up. When they decide to come after our guns, our First Amendment, our bank accounts, and everything else. That's when. Literally, that's when. All right. What do I got here? I got something here from Chin Music. He says, in Texas, they don't let scumbags get away either. The sheriff, Javier Salazar, people have printed up posters with his name and face, stuck them in the ground. But instead of saying vote for Javier Salazar for sheriff, it says human traffickers for Sheriff Javier Salazar. This is the socialist piece of shit sheriff in Texas that's letting all of these scumbags in and letting the criminals get away with everything they want to get away with. Interesting. Just good golly, folks. Are you prepared? Do you see what's coming? Do you understand it? We've got a lot, folks. Now, Iran is claiming that they're going to target Trump Force One, Trump's plane. Where's the national security? Right? Is Trump going to stop flying around? Is he going to stop playing golf? Is he going to stop flying around? Right? All of these threats, they are not going to stop. They just aren't. They're not going to stop. It's going to get worse. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think that they're actually going to try and shoot Trump's plane down? Do you think they're going to try shooting at him again? Do you think they're going to try using bombs, explosives? I sure hope that his SUV, whatever he travels around in, it may not be as armored as the president's personal conveyance, but all he's got to do is drive down the road and someone can, explode an IED or some other sort of demolition charge in the road, near the road, around Trump. What if they've got some sort of handheld, rocket launcher, an RPG? That would definitely take out Trump's machine, right? And to top it all off, folks, yeah, you want Washington, D.C. to do something? Oh, sure. They end up giving Secret Service protection to the Iranian president, the president of Iran, who threatened to kill Trump. So Trump had to downgrade the size of his Wisconsin fundraising rally venue because, well, we need to protect the guy who has threatened the president? Why does the Iranian Secret Service, or why does the Secret Service need to protect an Iranian? Aren't they supposed to be the enemy? It's just nuts to me. It's absolutely nuts. What do you want to talk about? Get your questions down below. Down below. It really is just almost too much for me, folks. It really is disgusting. It's truly disgusting. And while we're talking about that, down here in Florida, there's Jeremy Brown. He is the Patriot, the Army, I believe, Master Sergeant, who was a Green Beret, a combat veteran, a congressional candidate, was asked by the FBI to be an agent provocateur, a snitch, a bitch in any way, and un-American. Well, Jeremy Brown told them no. He recorded what he could from them, and he released it to the public. Hey, the FBI was here trying to get me to be an agent provocateur. You know, one of their boys on site. Well, he said no, and he attended Jeremy Brown, congressional candidate, Master Sergeant, war veteran, Green Beret, essentially an all-American hero. Today, he is celebrating his 4th birthday behind bars for being in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. He is not a criminal. He did nothing wrong except refuse to be an undercover agent for the FBI on January 6th. Folks, this is how Kamala Harris, this is how the Department of Justice, this is how they will treat all of us given the chance. This is how Washington, D.C., the Democrats and the deep state hates veterans, hates patriots. They're afraid of us, folks. They're afraid of patriots and veterans who could liberate the nation, could join with all Americans who love this country, right? And free ourselves. They don't like that. They don't like our free speech. They don't like the fact that we have guns. They don't like it. They hate it. That's why the other day, over the weekend, Biden went off screaming and yelling that the Second Amendment isn't absolute. Never, never, never. I mean, he was yelling like a moron. Oh, good. It's crazy. It really is crazy. I don't know what to say other than, you better be prepared. Truly. Now, do you remember when Kamala, during the one debate, where she was wearing that earpiece, luckily it didn't malfunction on her. Can you imagine if she had an earpiece on that debate night and it started malfunctioning and she reached over and was talking to her ear? Oh, that would have been glorious. I mean, she did it. It happened during an interview just a few days ago, which itself is telling and lets everyone know, yeah, she's a cheater. She's a lying, cheating piece of shit. Well, right, she said, world leaders don't respect Trump. World leaders laugh at Trump. Then why did Zelensky go suck up to Trump? And suck up he did. Well, the president of Poland, Andrzej Duda, well, he came over to America and he told Polish American voters in Pennsylvania, Trump. He praised his leadership. He praised the global security that Trump wants to bring. But wait, Kamala said that, they laugh at Trump. Why would they want to meet with him? Why would they endorse him? Yep, more bullshit from Kamala, more bullshit from the Democrats, and more bullshit from the mainstream media. Why didn't they fact check her on that, right? It would have been nice if they had fact checked her. By the way, Trump is in Valdosta, Georgia. I've never heard of that place ever, right? Trying to help out, offering his assistance where he can. Meanwhile, Kamala's flying around and pretending to help. It's not going to get better, folks. Trump saying I had to sit there and listen to her bullshit last night. Nobody's happy with what's going on, folks. And it's going to continue to be stupid. Are you ready? I am. I'm very ready, very prepared. Doesn't mean it won't be hard for me. As a prepper, if you're in the same boat as everyone else, it's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be emotionally trying. It's going to be physically difficult. It's going to hurt. But wouldn't you rather have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense versus being in a shit situation? No power, no water, no food, no protection, no medicine. And if you can't go out, there's nothing out there for you. That's what it's going to be like for non-preppers. They're going to be really, really in trouble. We're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of that in the Carolinas and Tennessee. We're seeing a lot of that in Florida. People not prepared. And I expect it and anticipate it to get worse. Good golly, folks. Now, the Freedom Party, which is basically like the American conservative / libertarian movement. We want freedom. We want to be left alone. Limited government. The Freedom Party has won elections in Austria, and the globalists, World Economic Forum types, are throwing a fit. Viktor Orban, Marine Le Pen, Geert Wilders, and other European conservative leaders are extremely happy to see Austria join them, right? They're looking at America, though. As much as Europe is doing its best to try and be free, all of them, I want you guys to know, are looking here at America to see what the people decide, who they want. Can we save our country? Will our elections be good? Or if America goes down? If America goes down, the rest of the world knows they won't be able to make it. Really. It's crazy. It is just, everything is crazy. Oh man, I hope we got some great questions all lined up. We really do. You know, we're under attack here in America, folks. A father in none other than Beverly Hills, California, is supposed to be extremely rich, exclusive, well-off area. They're not going to be protected, folks. A father there had to fight a wild, crazed, idiot man, a thug, who attacked him and his child. He ended up killing the guy, protecting himself and his child. That's what it's going to be life and death, folks. There's going to be a lot of life and death. Like I said, that professor who held a machete to the reporter's throat is back out on the street, and she's chanting with her people, her pro-Palestinian types, slitting the master's throat. Somehow that's acceptable? Really? That's how that works? That's what the liberals want. They're threatening congressional candidates. Hillary is threatening Trump. They're threatening people's children and families, right? And Kamala Harris is now saying she's going to secure the border if she wins. And she actually makes the claim, get this, our system must be orderly and secure. Where have you been for nearly 4 years? She's worse than a joke. She is a terrible punchline. Just absolutely awful, terrible. And Biden and Kamala's Gestapo SS Department of Justice is suing Alabama, the state of Alabama, for removing non-citizens on the voter rolls. In the Constitution, it states that each state is responsible for making sure their elections are done. It's not a federal issue. Elections are not federal, at least not right now. There are no federal laws that apply to something like this. This is a state law, right? States' rights. It's called the 10th Amendment to the Article of, or to the Bill of Rights, right? The 10th Amendment to the Bill of Rights. in the Constitution is what? All rights not expressly given to the federal government, right, are reserved to the people and the states respectively. I paraphrase that. Kamala wants to sue Alabama because they're taking these illegals off of the books. And Hillary says that calling you a deplorable is, quote, too kind of a word. It's truly, folks, what we're looking at. Huge violence. Huge violence. Yeah, Kamala's taking care of the border. That's a big priority, right? The angel moms down there just laid into her and said, stop pretending you care about the border. In other words, the people have woken up. The people have woken up down south, in the Southwest, in the Northwest, in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, right down south here. Nobody's believing her shit anymore. Nobody. In fact, Kamala Harris today went and spoke with a black podcaster. And guess what bullshit she tried pulling with this guy? I mean, the guy is trying to have a discussion with her, and she uses a fake accent. And then tries telling a story about her partying at the clubs. Is this supposed to make her more likable, more electable, more qualified? Recounting, reliving her whoring days with Montel Williams and Mayor Willie Brown? That's it, folks. I mean, that's what they got. That's what they think America wants to hear. I mean, this black podcaster, right? Well put together guy, articulate, right? It's the former NBA player Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. Wait. Let me make sure I got this right. Sat down for an interview with the podcast hosts and former NBA players. Yeah, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. She used a fake accent and made racial identity a big part of her bullshit. You can just tell people are not happy with her. They're not impressed with her. They don't care. She's full of shit. She really is. Absolutely full of shit. And it's not going to get better, folks. It really isn't. It really isn't. I hope you have everything set. You know what you need to do. Right? You know what you need to do. We're going to have one hell of an election this year. The presidency, the popular vote, and the electoral college vote should go to Trump. Can they make that happen? There's going to be statistical anomalies. Kamala's going to win certain areas. But do the Republicans have enough people on the ground to stop them, to call them out when they're cheating, to call the police and say that's a crime? I sure hope so. And I hope that you, all of us, to the best of your ability and with all of your skill and desire, get out there to the polling stations and volunteer. Go to the Republican headquarters in your town, in your voting district, and tell them you want to be part of the solution to make sure that cheating does not occur. Because if we don't do that, they're going to win. They're going to win. I mean, Trump is promising everything that we want to hear and that we want to see him do. Kick out the illegals, right? Cut taxes, cut spending, cut government waste. That's what the Elon Musk thing's about, right? We're sick and tired of these Congress people getting away with basically murder. How about just basically insider trading? Trump says Nancy Pelosi, quote, should be prosecuted when referring to her insider trading, how she's enriching herself. Is that what's scaring them? Is the P. Diddy thing scaring them? I mean, hell, years ago, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, right? And they have the black book. They have all the names, all his clients, all the people that flew to Epstein's pedophile island. Why hasn't that been released? Why isn't that made public? Why hasn't the FBI arrested these people? Why aren't they being prosecuted? Is Trump going to do that? You want to talk about making the voters of America happy? He should come right out and say, look, we've got people who were part of Jeffrey Epstein's island. They were committing horrifying crimes against children, against human beings, sex trafficking, etc. I am going to make that diary public so we can see who those people are and prosecute them. Do you think that Hillary Clinton would like that? Or Barack Obama? Or any of the Democrats and any of the rhino scumbags? Business owners, bankers, corporate people, all these big shots, they need to be exposed. And America, if they arrest them, we'll see that justice can be had. That would make people really want to vote for Trump. Maybe he's saving that one. I don't know. But any way you look at it, folks, we're in big, big trouble. And the number one thing you can do and should do is get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense with your plan. And now it's time for questions, which means I want to hear what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? Okay, Mr. Ooman. I know we've got a lot to talk about, a lot here. Let me get all set up. Holy bat smokes, we got a lot to talk about. Mikey G says Trump got to do the sword dance with the Saudis. Fuck, Joe Biden got a hand bump. Okay, when Trump showed up in Saudi Arabia as president of the United States, he was greeted with what is known as the sword dance. It's an ancient tradition, and it's only given to those people that are respected. Now, when I saw the sword dance, you can look it up on YouTube, Trump sword dance. I would be scared to death that these fucking crazed lunatics might chop my head off or run me through with a sword. But it was an honor that was given to Trump. And I've never seen anything like it, folks. I'd never seen the sword dance before that. But when Joe Biden showed up, he got dissed. I think he didn't even get a fist bump, didn't he? Mikey, he may have got an elbow bump. I don't know, but that was the extent of it. He didn't get a handshake, right? And that was before Saudi Arabia. Before Saudi Arabia looked at the United States and said, I'm done with you. And then they went and signed up with the BRICS Union, Russia, China, and India. They don't need America, folks. That's the difference between Trump and the Democrats. The Make America Great Again Trump that we want in office in our great America versus the destroyed America, the ruined dollar, and Joe Biden's disrespectful and the Democrats' disrespectful treatment of our allies. Crazy stuff. Thank you, Mikey G. Mr. Ooman, what else do we want to discuss? And it's chin music. And he says, the Alabama crowd erupted for the Orange Dude. That was the football game he attended yesterday in Alabama. Was it Greenball, Alabama? Anyways, he was up in a skybox. Trump walked into the stadium. He didn't have Secret Service surrounding him, protecting him. He literally walked in like he was just a regular observer, regular sports attendee. Like he owned the fucking place, not afraid. Stood in the skybox and the crowd went nuts. The crowd went nuts. Now, chin music continues. Tampon Timmy got his ass handed to him in Michigan. Their whole campaign is media astroturf. Yeah, Tampon Timmy went to a game in Michigan and got booed. He got jeered at, made fun of, called names. He was so pissed that when he was leaving the stadium, he flipped off the people in the stands. That is bad. Media astroturf, that's almost a compliment there, chin music. That buried their campaign. Right? That ground them up into mincemeat. Nobody likes Tampon Timmy. the dancing fruitcake, and he is a dancing fruitcake. Nobody likes Kamala Harris, right? They know she's a cheater. They know she's a liar. Go on X, Twitter. Go on X and just scroll through, and you'll find numerous people in the persons of color category. I'll just call them Black Americans. They don't like Kamala. They're putting her down. Women, men, old men, young women, college students. They don't like Kamala one bit. They really don't. And it's interesting is that the recent converts, people who said, I'm not going to vote for Trump. These minorities in America, persons of color, Black Americans, whatever you wish, right? That didn't, they were under the belief that Republicans hated them, that Republicans are bad, that we're mean. And they're continuing to say, this is amazing. You show up and you belong. You feel American. And I think that feeling is growing. So on the one side, you have an America that's uniting. On the other side, you have an America that's dividing and becoming violent. It's not going to get better. Anyways, thank you, Chin Music. The orange dude's back. And he better watch his back. Seriously. When he stood there in the skybox, waving to the crowd and, having fun, I'm sure they had their snipers on the lookout. But still, public appearances, he's not afraid. Trump is not afraid. I think he should be very cautious. Maybe not afraid, but by golly, they better take every step, every precaution that makes sense without making him look weak. Right? That's terrible. I mean, his lead is growing. The mainstream media is upset. But Trump better be careful because Queen Hillary is now saying there's going to be a big event coming in October. And I don't put anything past that bitch. I really don't. Ooh, man, who's up next? What do we want to talk about? We got Badass Diving Frog. And he says, when it comes to camel hoe, I've seen a beer with a better head on it. I would prefer head from a Heineken than head on a Kamala. Yeah. Badass Diving Frog says, when you corner a coward, he has no choice but to come at you. That's what makes leftists so dangerous. They're cowardly for the most part. I think altogether. I've watched many, many videos where there's men on the street or women on the street. They are rallying for Trump. They're supporting Trump, right? They're holding up their signs. They're talking to people. They're trying to get people to register as Republicans. And Democrats will walk by and they'll say something. And in some cases, they'll turn around and blindside people, attack them. And if they are trannies, look out. Absolutely look out. They are delusional. And I really believe that part of the brain that makes someone think, they've abandoned. It could be the Jim Jones juice. It could be those micro clots clogging off parts of their brain, lowering their ability to process information. In other words, making them zombies. Zombies indeed. Thank you, Mr. Diving Frog. This is we've got trouble, folks. Lots of trouble. It came out that P. Diddy, right? Sean P. Diddy Combs, he wants to testify in the federal sex trafficking trial. I think that P. Diddy needs to be careful that he's going to have an accident. There are so many rumors around this, though. I don't even know what to believe anymore. There's now a claim that a P. Diddy there is a federal agent who's been undercover. It's like, really, that's what undercover agents do? They buy rape lube by the barrel load, and they have sex parties, and they get people to take pictures and videos committing massive amounts of criminal activity. That's what federal agent does. An undercover agent. I don't know. I don't know anymore. These people are so far out of their minds, it's scary. So we'll just keep doing what we do. And Diving Frog is back. He says, hey, some more crazy stuff is coming out with the Diddy BS. It seems some of the Kardashians may all be dudes, and Caitlyn wants to be Bruce again. Oh, that's just fucking great. Yeah, the Kardashians are associated with P. Diddy. Lots of pictures together. I wonder how many of the Kardashians have attended his parties. Now, of course, we all know that the great Olympian Bruce Jenner decided he wanted to be Caitlyn Jenner. I guess now he's got some regret. Well, I guess he can have the fake boob implants removed. I don't know if he cut his dick off, though. I don't know, but if he did, talk about seller's remorse. But did he just put on there that some of the Kardashians are actually men and not just women? I don't know anymore. It's, once again, how do you know? What can you believe? 5 years ago, certainly 10 years and more, if someone told you that those women over there are actually men, you'd have been like, no way. Not true, right? Now, this entire transgender movement is just a huge dose of ugly reality. The Leah Thomas, the man with a penis who thinks he's a woman and competes in swimming, but in the locker room he wags his dick at the girls. What kind of shit is this? Well, it's Democrat shit, folks, because that's what they like. They support it. They do. They absolutely support it. I say get back in the fucking closet. Nobody cares. Nobody sees it. Nobody wants to have anything to do with you guys. You're a bunch of fucking weirdos and losers. Okay. It's crazy. Mr. Uman, what do we want to discuss next? What else is out there? And Uman himself has something to say. If there's anything you need to stock up on, better get it done quick. The dock workers' strike is supposed to start tomorrow. We'll probably start seeing shortages by the end of the week into next week. Right. The longshoremen, the people that unload ships, work in the dockyards, load up trucks, right? The forklift operators, the crane operators, they're going to go on strike. I don't see how that helps America. In fact, it's not going to help America. You know who else it's not going to help? Kamala. Kamala Harris is not going to look good if the shelves are a little bit light or empty at Walmart and Target and every other big chain store out there that gets its trash from China. Look out, folks. Yeah, get ready and get it done now. Once again, the most important things, food and water, ammunition, and guns. Get your medicines, whatever they are, over-the-counter medicines, prescription medicines, make sure they're full because it is going to happen, folks. It's going to happen. I mean, the people in the Carolinas and Tennessee right now, I'm sure there's a lot of places, right, where people are just fine, but you're not going to hear about them on the news. They're not going to go advertising that they're living comfortably as preppers or as comfortably as can be expected. Anyways, Uman says, with all the internet and power outages in North Carolina, lots of stores are only accepting cash. That's right. No internet, no phone means no EBT cards, no debit cards, no credit cards. Cash only. Uman says, good example as to why we should all keep some cash on hand, part of a well-rounded prepping plan for emergencies. Now, he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. It breaks my heart and makes me very sad, but this is the state of the nation. It is now. Now, if Trump were president and this hurricane hit and Florida was smashed, Georgia was crapped on, the Carolinas and Tennessee got destroyed, there would be power outages, there would be internet outages, and people would be in the same position. Right? I'm not trying to blame the crisis on Kamala, but this is what you can expect from federal government: inefficiency, poor planning, and poor execution. Like I said, who's Trump talking to? Elon Musk. What's he trying to do? Get internet connectivity, getting generators into the area. Now, the day before the hurricane here and the day after the hurricane, when it blew on by, I went down to Lowe's Home Improvement, right? And like a Home Depot, and I wanted to see what was going on. Lowe's still had generators. They still had generators on pallets. They sold out as I literally walked through the day after the hurricane, because people realized they weren't going to get their power back. So they were rushing down to Lowe's to get generators. You've got time. Whatever it is you need to be prepared, you need to be prepared. Because when it's too late, it's literally too late. And it's nobody's fault but our own. Thank you, Mr. Uman, very much for that. Well stated. Having some cash. $100, $200, $500. It's a good idea. It truly is. It's better than nothing. It just is. Mr. Uman, what do we want to discuss next? Who's out there that's got something important? And Mikey G wants to discuss the dock workers. He says most dock workers will be replaced with AI soon, artificial intelligence, robots. At some point, they just may do that. They might automate things enough. They already have computer automation in warehouses. Trucks show up. The robots scan what the boxes are. The robots know where to go put the articles. They'll pick them up with their little robot pinchers and carry them over and put them up on the appropriate shelf. And then when they need to put things from the warehouse into a truck and take it to a store or deliver to a customer, the robots do the work. The dock workers. How hard is it to program a computer with artificial intelligence to operate a crane? How hard is that? You get over the top of the box, you lower the thing down, it clamps onto the big box, you lift it up, go over, set it down. Very much like a robot taking a box and putting it on a shelf. It's all computerized. While it's lifting it up, right, it detects, it understands what's in the shipping container, where it came from, where it's going, who's going to be hauling it. It's not rocket science. It can be replaced, the people out there, with artificial intelligence. You would think that human beings, well, can a robot make a hamburger? Right? Can it go over here and take a bun out and put special sauce, lettuce, cheese? Can it go flip a burger, cook it, make sure everything's good, put some cheese on there, put it on the bun, close it all up, put it in a bag, and hand it to a human being? Well, they're doing it. However they process it and get the food out, they're doing it. And holy shit, I didn't know they were asking for that much. The Longshoremen's Union is demanding a 75% pay increase. Once again, I understand what unions do and why they do it. I understand that. One of the demands is no automation on the docks. Well, when that happens, it happens. It's too late. It's fuck you, unions. I've already told you about SYAR Industries, SYAR, SYAR Industries in California. They just shut down. I was informed, and this is 20 years ago. They were shut down and closed just to get the union out of their cement mixing, out of their gravel quarries, out of their sand quarries. They were tired of the unions. They could just shut down and get rid of them. So the longshoremen want a 75% pay increase. How's that going to help me and you? Is that going to lower prices? Is that going to mean more efficient docks? Is that going to mean things are shipped and on time? No, it just means they get a 75% pay increase. And the cost of goods will go up to reflect that. It's that kind of a world. And while we're at it, I really believe this artificial intelligence, robots, drones, police robots, automated robots in factories, automated robots in warehouses, the elite scumbags, the Gil Bates of the world, the Zark Muckerbergs of the world, the Sorge Goroses of the world. They don't want or need us anymore. The World Economic Forum, they could kill off 90% of the human population and not give a shit. They'll be perfectly fine with it. Perfectly fine with it. And I'm starting to wonder if some of these wacko websites don't have a lot more truth in them than we would know. Have you heard about the catacombs that have been discovered around the world, like the catacombs under Rome and under Paris and many other major cities? These catacombs stretch for miles and miles underground. They're lined with millions and millions and millions and millions of human skeletons, bodies that were taken down and packed into these catacombs. Is that what the elites have in mind for us? Just to get rid of humanity and just bury the evidence underground and get rid of all of us? They don't need us. They don't want us. They don't like us. They want to be the elites. They want to be the gods. They want to have all the wealth and all the power. And me and you, we're just useful idiots to them. They don't care about us. They think they can control the world with, well, flying drones and, militarized robots. That's what they think. And they've been testing it out. They've now used it and deployed it. That's right, in Ukraine, using explosive drones to target people. The drone sees a person, it flies down and blows shit up. That's what they do, folks. I remember getting laughed at and told that that's not going to happen, that they're not going to replace policemen with robots. Have you seen the science fiction movies? Do you remember when science fiction movies were just science fiction and then years later you're like, I remember when that was in a movie? Well, now it's reality. It's coming. It truly is. Mr. Uman, who else, what else, and how else? Reports are that 23andMe, which is the DNA collecting company to try and figure out who is who and who has what DNA, genetics. Well, so 23andMe is up for sale along with all the DNA. Someone's going to buy it. That DNA is useful, apparently. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I mean, I'm not a creative scientific Frankenstein or a Joseph Mengele. I'm not a Moriarty. I'm not some kind of mastermind evil bastard. I don't know how these fucking people come up with being evil, but they're good at it. Someone is going to use that. One of the beliefs was that bioweapons can be engineered to affect very specific genotypes. Genotypes. Do they need to kill off all the Scandinavian-looking people? Well, if they get Scandinavian DNA and they're like, yep, there's a group of them there. They got such and such a haplogroup. Can they engineer a disease that comes after just us? There's a chance, folks. I don't put anything past them. I really don't. Thank you, Mr. Uman, for that 23andMe update. A lot of people are dying in the world of artificial intelligence, in the world of genetic research. in the world of cancer research, in the way people who criticize pharmaceutical companies. Uman says another belief is that it can be used to plant DNA evidence to convict you of anything they want or need. Yes, it can be abused. Just like, say, the FBI were to come in and take my computer and say, John's a criminal. And by golly, you wouldn't believe what we found on his computer, right? Plans to assassinate the Democrat candidates in his area, or plant kiddie porn, or plant any evidence they want. They could plant DNA evidence at the scene of a murder. There you go, right? It's possible, folks, and it's not. I don't think we can put it past them. Corrupt government will do anything to protect itself. Anything. Look what Kamala is doing. Look what Hillary is doing and saying. Look what Joe is doing. They're completely and totally attacking Trump. They're abusing the judicial system, the Department of Justice. They're abusing and ignoring the Constitution because they're afraid of losing their power. Tell me, literally tell me, that we don't have a lot more of this coming. Truly. All right, Mr. Uman, great point indeed, right? Framing us for crimes that we didn't commit. Hell, Jeremy Brown, the Master Sergeant, Army, retired, Green Beret, combat veteran, they planted evidence in his trailer, his travel trailer, put some grenades in there, as if people in the military can get grenades. You can't get grenades. It's not like, yeah, look, I just found a box of grenades on the base. Go hand them out to your friends. No, that shit is very tightly controlled. And even in combat, they don't just hand out fucking grenades to everybody. That's not how that shit works. I wish it was, because then I would have some grenades, but I don't have any grenades. No explosives, right? It's incredible. And so why would Jeremy Brown just have that rolling around in his trailer? Planted evidence. They'll plant whatever evidence they got. Okay, oh man, that's enough of that. I think I've whipped that horse enough. Who's up next? What do we got? We've got just a few minutes left, and Chin Music is back. And he has this for conservatives, alpha men and traditional women, communist Democrats. Power women, beta males, and every freak from the island of misfit toys. They're starting to lose their grip on the kids, and it's panic time. Right? Conservatives are your alpha males. Conservatives are traditional, intelligent women. Right? Your communists are, well, hate-filled women, not very intelligent. Beta, weak males, you bet, as well as all the freaks. And they are starting to lose their grip. They're starting to lose their grip on the minority groups. They're losing their grip on the kids. And it is panic time. They are panicking right now. There's not one of what could have Kamala done to really get America to think, oh, she really cares. She should have put a press release out. I'm canceling my fundraiser in California. I'm flying to North Carolina. I'm going to fly in and get over to Asheville and get on the ground and really understand the damage, really understand the plight of the people, make every effort, commandments. We're going to have truckloads of food, truckloads of fuel. We're bringing in generators. We're going to make sure you people are okay. We're going to get you Starlink, right? She didn't even try to do that. She didn't even show up to lie. It just, that was it. I mean, literally, she could have done anything. It would have looked good on paper. It would have been good optics, a good photo op. Completely blew it. She did. And we know she's used to blowing everything she can, right? I'm not even going to tell you what Twinkle Toes Timmy just said because it makes no fucking sense. It doesn't. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. I hope you are ready, prepared, well-stocked, and you've got a good plan. God bless America. Semper Fi.